This is called Love Waltz with Fireworks. 17 minutes ago, I was in love with a cashier and a cinnamon pull-apart. 7 minutes before that, it was a gray-haired man in Argyle socks, a woman dancing outside the bakery holding a cigarette and a broken umbrella. The rain, I've fallen in love with it many times. The fog, the frost, how it covers the clovers, and by clovers, I mean lovers. And now I'm thinking how much I want to rush up to the stranger in the plaid wool hat and tell him I love his eyes. All those fireworks, every 17 minutes exploding in my head. You the baker, you the novelist, you the reader, you the homeless man on the corner with the strong hands. I've thought about you. But in this world, we've been taught to keep our emotions tight. A rubber band ball where we worry if one band loosens, the others will begin shooting off in so many directions. So we quiet, I quiet. I eat my cinnamon bread in the bakery, watching the old man still sitting at his table, holding his handkerchief as he drinks his small cup of coffee. And I never say, I think you are beautiful, except in my head, except I decide I can't live this way. I walk over to him, place my hand on his shoulder, and lean in close and whisper, I love your Argyle socks. And he grabs my hand the way a memory holds tight in the smallest corner. He smiles and says, I always hope someone will notice. But why we're really here today is not to hear what I've written, but to celebrate Jeannine and her book, La Corona, which came out by BOA, which is one of the hardest presses to be published by. So it's a huge accomplishment, and you're turning 50.
Yeah.
Which is awesome.
Success.
So I found this poem by Jeannine. I don't know what book it's from, but it's called Self-Portrait at 39.
Oh, that's not in any book.
Okay, so I'm going to read you a rote poem that's out in the wild that has never been in a book, and we can see how Jeannine is at 50. This is called Self-Portrait at 39 by Jeannine Hall Gailey. Every year, my birthday comes in April, with a fickle sun and pollen on my fingers. I wake up in a field with a scrap of cloth in one hand and a fistful of wheat in the other. Wheat represents a blonde fertility goddess fading with the light. The cloth is the floral print prom dress that still hangs in my closet. Did you ever think I'd make it this far? Imagine children in the distance like somber ghosts taking notes. You have lost them, your home, the name of their imaginary fathers. Shades of a different country forgotten. In the years close to 40, a woman might stop looking in the mirror. But when I was 13, I dreamed of 39. Even then, my hair turned gray, my blue eyes washing out, wishing to be taller, older, free as the trees in the wind. In my imagined future, I wore pink heels and white shorts. You already have nailed that one. The future would be full of bookshelves, clean carpet, champagne glasses. Also, check, check, check. These days, I drive fast and play the music as loud as I like. I am not afraid of the policeman. The shine of the water makes me reckless, necklines more restless. Come help me blow out the candles. We will eat only the frosting and put on movies about vulnerable boys standing in the rain, waiting for us to come out to them, pale and patient as the April moon. Oh, that's a beautiful poem, and I can say that because I didn't write it. So I think I'm going to read one more because I really want to get Jeannine up here. But this is a poem that we wrote together, and what I love about it is we both write really dark stuff, and we're not afraid to do it, and we also have a sense of humor, which sometimes comes out and sometimes doesn't. But what we did was we created a Google document, and then she would write a line, and I'd write a line, and then we made this poem, and then we forgot about it. So today I dug it up after, how many years?
At least 3.
Way more than 3. It was way, like 2016 maybe, 2017.
Oh, cool.
Maybe.
This is the time. Yeah.
Possibly. I mean, COVID, right?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And it's called Racing Shadows. In the canal, paddleboards race with nuclear subs. Define gray whale, define marine life, marine death. In the shadows of the water, I lean away from the ominous outline of the giant submarine. I lean away from what explodes, what may explode, into the peace that's too hard to see. Tell me how a drop of sea in my mouth and my hair on my skin can detonate. It's just you and me here. One of us is driving drunk with road rage towards another country. Sonar spooking the whales, the porpoise. How deep does this go? The collision course with destiny, with the power of the ocean. I glide back to the safety of the beach, where otters speed dial their senators, where clams try to keep calm. I actually thought that was a really funny line.
Agreed.
Yeah. It's all good until it isn't. The driftwood twisting itself into a skeleton of a mermaid, a dragon lost at the bottom of the sea. How dangerous to assume the blue surface hides no secret, that waves don't rattle bones. I'm gonna leave this one up here in case you want to read it. It's female comic book superheroes, which I think is, like, if Jeannine had a Freebird, you know, like you went to a concert and everyone's like, play Freebird, I think that might be it. So I'm going to now introduce the birthday girl, the newest author among us, even though Rhonda Broach also has a new book. But Jeannine's book, Blair Corona, is a pretty big deal, and you have copies to sell?
I do.
Okay, because it's, if you bought pre-sale, just cancel your pre-sale and buy it here. Because, or keep the pre-sale and then give that one away. Jeannine has been my friend for at least 20 years.
At least.
And she's one of my favorite people because she's always open to any of the shenanigans I want to do. I can hold my camera up and say, dance for me. And then she just starts doing a jitterbug. So I'm gonna let her come up here and share her work. And if we could all just give her a huge applause and a happy birthday, girl. I'd love that. Okay.
Gotta kick everything over. All right, bring the place down. See if this is. Can you hear me? Yeah. That is fixing fine. Thanks. First of all, thank you to John and to J. Bookwalter Winery for hosting us and being so gracious to let us be here today. Oh, do I need to lift this up a little bit then? All right. And thank you to everybody for being here. My parents came here from Ohio, my little brother and sister-in-law from Hood Canal, and all of these guys on the table back there have been my friends for 20 odd years. And thank you so much for being here. I've got my wonderful book club back there, some of my neighbors, some old poet friends. Thank you all so much for being here. It means so much to me.
Book club is here.
Book club is here.
It's here.
It meets here. Yeah, if you guys want to come, it's usually like on a Wednesday, second Wednesday. I can give you information out. But thank you all for being here. And I'm just going to read a few poems from my new book. Except for this poem that Kelly brought me because I thought that was pretty cute. It is one of my favorite poems from my first book, Becoming the Villainess. It's called Female Comic Superheroes.
Garrison Keillor.
Yes, Garrison Keillor read this. It's hilarious. You won't find it online. All right. Female comic book superheroes are always fighting evil, and a pulsing techno soundtrack in the background as their tiny ankles thwack against the bulk of male thugs. They have names like Buffy, Elektra, or Storm, but excel in code decryption, Egyptology, or pyrotechnics. They pout when tortured, but always escape just in time, still impeccable in lip gloss and pointy-toed boots, to rescue male partners, love interests, or fathers. Impossible chests burst out of tight leather jackets, which they extract the hidden scroll, antidote, or dagger, tousled hair covering one eye. They return to their day jobs as forensic pathologists, wearing their hair up and donning dainty glasses. Of all the goddesses, these pneumatic heroines most resemble Artemis with her miniskirts and crossbow, or Freya with her giant gray cats. Each has seen this apocalypse before. See her perfect three-point landing on top of that chariot, riding the silver moon into the horizon, city crumbling around her heels. I don't want to be too close to the mic, but I feel like I might be going in and out a little bit, so I apologize.
You should step on it. Step on it.
I will French kiss the mic. No, I will not. Anyway, so here are a few poems from my new book, Claire Corona. Now, Claire Corona, it's a little bit different than the rest of my books. It's more autobiographical. And it started in 2016 when Trump was elected, and I was diagnosed with terminal liver cancer. And I went to a specialist, and the specialist said, "You're dying of terminal liver cancer, there's nothing we can do." And on that day, I signed the mortgage for my house in Woodinville. I bought a cat, and I was like, I'm gonna make it. So then, 6 months later, I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, but told maybe the cancer wouldn't kill me. And so then I had to deal with all the fallout of that, and that's what this book is about. Plus other fun things like coronavirus. You know, it's a real uproar, is what I'm saying. This is a good time. That's what I'm saying. The first poem is called Irradiate. I grew up in Oak Ridge, Tennessee. My father worked as a nuclear science safety engineer with robotics, and so there was a lot of nuclear radiation pollution there, including with cesium, which is also one of the ones at Chernobyl. So this is called Irradiate. As a child, I was radiant. The land grew irradiated corn and roses, tomatoes large and abundant, swallows and catfish carrying the isotopes to the water and woods. The sun rose each day, while the shadows of trees concealed government laboratories where my father worked. I grew up listening to the tap click of the Geiger counter. I grew up listening to clicks on the phone line. I was still innocent, irradiated, to blast with radiation, to sterilize, food, medical equipment, a person. I was waiting for a message from the sky. I knew what it meant to illuminate the fall of light in a painting, or through an old window that irradiated a field of flowers, or the face of someone you love, to bring the full beauty of something to the surface. I was irradiated by the gentle glow of the computer screen, by the microwave, by the sun growing brighter each spring, dimmer each fall. I meant I was full of radiation. I meant I was full of light. I meant I could give birth to nothing but light. So thank you. By the way, there are cupcakes after this, in case you're worried. A lot of sugar. This next one is a funny one. It got published in a poetry magazine, which is sort of the big deal of the poetry. I had been sitting there since I was 19 years old, and they took it in 2019, right before the pandemic. And so it's really funny. They took a poem called Calamity, and then it was published in April 2020. So weird timing, right? All right. So Calamity. Your family is coming over for Thanksgiving. Even worse, it's snowing. Headless robots are playing soccer with your soul. UFOs have been sighted overhead. A meteor is definitely heading straight for you. It might miss, but then again. Tonight, a city is being decimated by Godzilla. Or was it a bunch of genetically engineered dinosaurs? Either way, I hope you're lizard friendly. Tonight, you have to give a speech, and that girl who hated you in 3rd grade will be in the audience. What have I ever done to deserve this? The prophet asked, tearing his robes in the desert. And God responds, how long you got? A plague of egrets, of egress. A black hole has just opened up and is already swallowing someone else's sun. Did you see the team play last night? A travesty. Someone's always preaching about doomsday. Who are you wearing? Because tonight, your life will be required of you. Grab a bag, a sword, a water bottle. Go out swinging. So this next poem is called Conspiracy of Ravens Began. Do you remember the night before you died? The way the moon was a silver sliver, the wind pushed the dead leaves along the ground, and the ravens sat outside my window, with their dark wings shadowed everything. The smell was of something burning, chemical and acrid. I used to sing songs about flying away. I used to be a believer. Do you remember that? I used to be bright as a flower. The night you died, what did you say to me? That you loved my nose, that you'd follow me anywhere. And now I cannot follow. It's so dark, I cannot follow the shadows outside my window. The moon is almost nothing. Do you remember the last thing you said? The way the ravens outside were screaming your name, the way the whole earth shook beneath us, the way the night arrived, as if it would never end. All right, so this has some comedy in it. And it has string theory. Everybody loves a little string theory in their poetry, right? So this is called, this is the darkest timeline. There was an episode of Community called Chaos Theory. Community was this old great show. And anyway, it started with a roll of the dice. They ended up at 6 different timelines. So this is the darkest timeline. The one that started with a roll of the dice, an election gone awry, a time of fire and flood. We started to panic at every pandemic, went into quarantine playing quarters. We've all become the evil versions of ourselves, just trying to get back to the prime timeline, the one where everything went right, when our memories weren't clouded by calamity. That butterfly that flapped its wings, the animal virus gone rogue. We couldn't buy butter or bullets. We waited with bated breath underground. When we emerge anew, it will be with new eyes. Our currency changed from cash to cashews and cheese sandwich. By the way, there's cashews afterwards as well. You can't remember the taste of food without tin. You can't remember how to kiss. Your sense of time scrambled. You've learned to throw a knife and gut a fish. The darkest timeline has taken us the way of apocalypse, earthquake, supervolcanoes, tidal waves. We can't take any more disaster. We've buried too many bodies and sheltered in place too long to forget. When we started this journey, there was nothing left to lose. Now we're too tired to remember how fresh fruit used to smell, the pale pink of cherry blossoms, the days before the coyotes took over the streets. So, this is called My Life is an Accident. My life is an accident of DNA and radiation, a million missed chances for death to sweep me off my feet. Too many of this, not enough of that, a witch's spell for trouble. Red-haired and scarlet-fevered, born with wings and a tail, an immune system weak as a kitten in a net, for being in the wrong weeds at the wrong time. Fascinated with systems, folders and fossils, tracking down dinosaurs, and later delivery systems for rare antivirals, government research into nuclear facilities, conspiracy theories about aliens and solar flares. I was never meant, not planned, not absorbed into the mainstream, never meant to survive this long, according to charts and scans. She's a miracle, they said. She's a mutant. She's a baby born of a bad seed. Modern living makes the body bitter, our blood and flesh filled with hormone disruptors, flame retardants, and false positives. But I'm a haymaker, a harbinger, a fateful warning of things to come. So I'm going to sing a couple of happier poems here about coronavirus. So those should be fun. And then it's always over. All right. So this is called In a Plague Year, I Found Foxes. During the pandemic, I won a residency out on San Juan Island, and I kept running into foxes. So this is what inspired this poem. In a plague year, I found foxes all around, on islands, red fur, gray, dusty black, shades of autumn leaves, eyes amber and unafraid, standing in grasses waiting for us. I found the fox inside me, curling up in twigs and fur, my sharpened teeth and hunger. I burrowed in to protect us from the plague, but there was nowhere to run. Like flames in the forest, it was all around, lives going up in smoke. I never left the forest. I trusted only familiar paths, familiar smells, dirt, trees, beetles, berries that stained our mouths. I drew poems in the dust. I grew a tail. I left fox fur wherever I went. I don't know how I will come back, or if I will. Our burrow now littered with bones and mushrooms, a home or a place for the spirits of the dead. I could never outrun death. It is coming for us both. Enjoy the colors of this winter sunset, the bare branches, the visits of other foxes, their cries in the night, the softness around us, the tenderness of endings. In the second year of the plague, I planted a fig tree based on a true story. I planted a fig tree. It hasn't given me any figs yet. In the second year of the plague, I planted the fig tree because I want to know what it's like to be new again, Eden, with green figs and honey. It will just be you and me and a snake for company. Already the roses are growing a thorn hedge around us. Listen to me. Sing a new song. Burn rosemary and rose petals. We'll become a city on a hill. We've paved the way with things we lost. Cake flour, lipstick, a discarded pile of masks smiling up at us like ghosts. We've dreamed of this day, but didn't remember how much it cost us. We've already forgotten the way things were before the plague. Nightclubs, sharing an appetizer with a friend, casual hugs, even accidentally brushing a stranger's hand. So we'll be born again, love, standing under this tree, new and shiny as apples, free to make a new world, free of memory, ignorant of God or virus, demon or machine, empty of knowledge, ready to start over, ready to start with a plate of green figs under the juice of the ripening moon, ready to grow roots into the earth. So this is my last poem, and it is tiny bit sad. All right, this is called When I Thought I Was Dying, but ultimately hopeful, because I'm still here, 50 years old, still here. When I thought I was dying, it was so easy to love things. Birds, the flutter of branches, my husband who always has to be right. I thought, I will lose all of this. I hugged my cats more. I watched less television, except for comedies, which drug me to sleep at night. Stupid 1950s sci-fi films especially. Maybe I loved them too. I loved poetry and wrote almost every day, thinking I do not have time to write. The lights would flicker and threaten outages. How like our bodies these power lines are, reliable until they are not, eaten by rats or rammed by cars at random. You see how I thought everything was profound? My Netflix recommendations, passing a woman on the street and smiling. I ate a lot more pancakes, something I hadn't done since childhood. I thought maybe there will be a miracle. Maybe I will have more time, a temporary grant of extension. I will still do taxes and fill out forms at the doctor's office. I will still have time to be mad at traffic. I will stop petting random dogs. I will have time to stop noticing when the hummingbird or deer or stellar jay pauses to look in my eyes, that moment before. That's the thing about having time. You miss so much. Thank you guys.